All right, I had some technical difficulties. You're making a response video to the Ron Paul thing, so anyway, I'll just put the whatever I got together. I mean, the damn software fucked up, and the videos were all messed up, and so anyway, this is what it. Anyway, it's gonna be like 5 parts, and it's whatever. It is what it is. A couple of people have nagged me about the Ron Paul video, so I figure I'll do another one as a reward. And to Tommy from the Bronx, he posted a stupid video. I'll post a link if it's still there. Whining about the blocking thing again, and like this is now his excuse that, oh, I don't have to respond. Well, I don't care if you respond, Tommy. It's completely irrelevant. I make videos responding to what you publish, what you put out there, or somebody else puts out there. I don't care whether you choose to respond or not. It's completely irrelevant to me. And your lame excuse that you can't comment. I mean, come on. What are you going to comment to? There's like 3 comments on my board that even reference you, and they're, compared to the crap you let people publish on your boards about me, I mean, it's nothing. You think I'm going to waste my time trying to argue with all your assholes in your comments? I mean, fuck that bullshit. So fuck you. It's lame excuse. All right, you don't want to respond? Fuck you. Don't respond. Idiot. Alright, so on to Ron Paul video. So this is from a C-SPAN program, half-hour interview we did. I just cut out the Ron Paul parts, and it's just political rhetoric, so we'll just go through the political rhetoric. It's going to be a long freaking video. 4 parts, maybe.
Nothing's going to work unless you understand how we got into the problem. A lot of people object to me saying that because they want to do what we have to do right now. But as a physician, I was always taught, you have to know what caused the disease to know how to give the treatment.
Yeah, this is coming from a guy who doesn't believe in evolution, right? He's going to tell us that he understands causes and effects, and he doesn't believe in evolution. And he also tried to pass a constitutional amendment banning abortions. Let's not forget that. Just think of how he doesn't even understand the present circumstance, let alone what caused it. He doesn't even understand what's happening right now, which is the rich are getting richer. And that's the part he just ignores. He ignores the consolidation of wealth. He ignores that legacy. It just doesn't even enter his imagination that could possibly be the dynamic that destroys civilization.
And if you look at that, you find out that it was too much government, from my viewpoint. Too much spending, too much debt, too much inflation by the Federal Reserve, too much interference in the marketplace.
Yeah, okay, let's just, the interference in the marketplace, that would be the regulation of the market, okay, that obviously was under-regulated. It wasn't that there was too much regulation, there obviously wasn't enough regulation, because in the modern era you have all kinds of vehicles, all kinds of way of bundling money and cash and commerce. So unless you want to do away with all kinds of electronic transfers and all kinds of modern technology, yeah, it's going to be inevitable. You got to regulate what goes on. It's just so stupid. Unless you want to go back to the old days and we'll all bite our metal coins, right? And we'll all file them down, and it's just so fucking stupid. What else did they say? Okay, the spending thing, yeah, no doubt about it. If you're going to spend money, you can't have tax cuts. And guess what? You voted for all the tax cuts, and not a tax cut you don't like. So somehow you vote for the tax cuts even though you know the spending cuts aren't going to happen. So I'd say that was pretty fucking irresponsible. And you never, you don't directly say, you just say, yeah, we'll abolish this and abolish that and abolish that. So I don't know. I don't think you can sell any of that. I don't think people want to abolish Social Security. I don't think they want to abolish unemployment insurance. They don't want to abolish a minimum wage. And you do. They don't want to go back to that world. God, the reason why those things exist is because they were needed, you dumb ass.
Too much price fixing of interest rates, too much propping up of certain industries like housing.
Yeah, well, see here again, you first 1 minute you talk about inflation, next minute you talk about interest rates. Well, guess what? It was keeping interest rates artificially low that kept off inflation, that held off inflation. And so that sort of it allowed people to make lots of money in the stock market, didn't it? That allowed people to borrow money that wouldn't have been able to borrow money. That allowed people, you're always talking about these small businessmen. Well, these small businessmen would have been fuck out of luck if the world was run your way. Because guess what? Borrowing money would be damn expensive under your reality.
Houses, and then you get a bubble. You have to understand how the bubbles form, and then you can expect, the collapse of the bubble, which we as Austrian economists predicted would happen, and it did.
Yeah, right. You predicted, and it did. I didn't hear you predicted any of this. You're still not predicting. You're still calling this a recession. You're not even calling it a depression. So I guess your predictions are going to really suck in about a year from now when it's a real depression. So wrong again, jerk. Look, I predicted 10 years ago, okay, that the market was fake, it was phony, it was bullshit. All right, I told everybody I knew to get the hell out. I got out. Everybody, you get out because it's done, it's finished. It was built on nothing. It was built on insane evaluations. It was built on fake money, a bunch of fake money that just transaction money. Over time, they just keep transacting money, and through all that process, what happens is they end up the money being exchanged isn't collateralized anymore. Okay, so there might be, instead of something of 90 or 80 or 70% value that all this money is built on, it's only 5% or 2%. There's no real value. So when you unravel all the debt, all the transactions, there's no collateral behind any of it, because all of it was based on an illusion of perpetual growth. So everything was transacted based on an artificial value. Like it was this expectation that, yes, okay, real estate's going to go up 10% a year. And that was the plan. And so then they would borrow and margin money on that illusion. But that's your free market businessmen that did that. It wasn't fucking government that did that.
So therefore, what you want to do is, if you know there's a lot of pain and suffering and malinvestment and excessive debt, the treatment is you got to get rid of it. That means you have to liquidate the debt and
yeah, so liquidate the debt. So you got $50 trillion in personal debt, and you got at least, I guess, 12 trillion in national debt now, and you're going to liquidate that. And in that liquidation process, what happens to the average American? He's not going to win in that process. He's going to have nothing. The rich will have everything. They're the ones that have the capital, asshole. Okay, so if you don't, unless you plan on liquidating it with them being tough luck, left with holding an empty bag, and I don't think that's what you're saying, then how is it going to work to the advantage of the average American, this liquidation?
remove all the mistakes, the malinvestment, which politically it means take more of a hands-off position. And that, of course, nobody can do that. Politicians are trained to do stuff. But government can do things to improve things. They could lower spending. They could lower taxes. They could deregulate.
Yeah, deregulate some more. That would make great sense. And lower taxes some more. Yeah, that would make great sense too. How is that going to pay off 50, 60, 70 trillion dollars worth of liabilities? How exactly are you going to transfer this $70 trillion from people that don't have it to these people who hold the IOUs? How exactly are you going to do that, you fucktard?
They could regulate the Federal Reserve, which we don't. We could regulate.
I mean, it is regulated. Your own damn committee regulates it. All right? I mean, there's a whole process of the people on the board are regulated. They're appointed and they're screened. So I guess obviously we have the power to change it any time we want to. Idiot.
The Treasury when they're given $350 billion to spend. So the regulation is directed in a different manner. But we're doing exactly the opposite. We're doing more like we did in the Depression, where the Federal Reserve and excessive government caused the boom of the 20s and the Depression of the 30s by not allowing the correction. Not
allowing the correction? What do you mean the correction happened? Big giant crash in the damn market, and it was created by the same illusion, the roaring 20s. That's when the credit card wasn't invented then, but debt was, okay? People started borrowing money and living as if they were rich, and they weren't rich. And then they found out they weren't fucking rich. And guess who won after the crash, okay? The rich got richer, all right? They bought up everything.